this is the engine bay of a 1972 Nova. Not the way this guy started life, but at this point it does have, at least the way it started engine-wise, this is a 427. That's the way it started life. We don't know the internal components. It may be considerably more than that. It does have a pretty stiff cam in it. It has everything completely done, and we'll show you some paperwork on it once we get done with the presentation, about halfway through it actually. And Devin will have it all up on the website for you. It has a set of can-filled aluminum heads on it, big valve aluminum heads. It has Sidewinder Edelbrock type intake manifold on it, a vacuum secondary Hawley carburetor, probably about a 780, 800, somewhere in there. Dual fuel feed. It has a huge set of, I'm going to call them 2 1/8 inch equal length headers on it. Nice set of headers on this guy, very, very nice set. It has high silicone plug wires on it. It has a billet MSD distributor in it, MSG ignition system also with it. Has a billet drive system in the front, serpentine, 2 serpentine belts on it. Real nice system, all nice billet aluminum, brand new chrome plated alternator. The heater hoses are still hooked up and functional to the passenger compartment. Has power steering. It has power disc brakes in it, dual stage master cylinder, and you can see this has all definitely been upgraded. Everything is nice and chrome plated. The power steering pump is, the alternator, overflow tank, the booster, dual stage master cylinder, chrome on the strut rods here, supports, chrome top on the radiator. Has a 4-pass at least, a 4-pass high flow, high volume aluminum radiator in it. It has a flex fan on it, but it also has a electric fan in the front part of it. It doesn't appear to have ever had any damage whatsoever. This appears to be the original tag that came with this car. It looks like someone took it off and put it on top of the radiator housing support here. The heads, like I say, are aluminum. The block is painted to look like a ZL1, like an aluminum motor, but I'm sure it's a cast iron block in it. It is a 427 cast iron block. Has a shut-off on the battery, which is a nice added feature. You can't see it, but you'll see it from underneath, and Devin will show you some good pictures of it. It does have an upgraded front suspension on it. It has double A-arm chrome moly front suspension as opposed to the standard shift stuff that Chevrolet put on from the factory. Hood has a fiberglass scoop on it. The engine compartment is semi-flat black, the way it should be. The cowl tag is on the cowl and still very legible. And it's just a very, very nice straight engine compartment. This guy is making some serious horsepower. I just looked at the cam specs real briefly, and it's got a serious stick in it. This motor has to be making incredible horsepower. Haven't driven it yet, but we're going to do that shortly. We're going to go around the rest of it and show you what we can cosmetically on the car. Hi, you're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and we're going to present to you this morning a 1972 Chevy Nova. Kind of a really special car. We're going to go over it and show you all the cosmetics on it. Then we got a surprise for you in the trunk. We got a lot of documentation for this guy. Although it isn't original at this point, it still has all the docs from its originality. Nice fitment of the hood. You can see that the gap is just as nice as you'd hope to find. Someone has chrome plated the cowl area over here, but it does line up very nicely with the hood, and you can see the same treatment on this side. The hood to the fender just fits as nice as can be. Everything lines up very nicely. The paint on this car it's driver quality or a little bit better. It's certainly not a show quality vehicle with that much paint on it, but it's certainly better than it ever was in 1972 whenever it was released by General Motors. L88 style hood scoop on it. They stole this off of a Corvette, but really looks good on the car. It gives it a lot of charisma, a lot of pop to it. The grille is an SS style blacked out grille, just the way it should be. Your side ends over there, which are usually starting to deteriorate the paint on them, and these are just as nice as can be. Filler panel, which is usually silver, is painted yellow to match the car. Front bumper, very, very nice. No marks or scuffs or anything whatsoever on it. There's nothing to detect looking at it very quickly here. The amber parking lights are real nice in it. There's no dents in the front of the bumper or stone marks or anything from any trauma through the years. Going down the side of the vehicle, it's got the old Rally Nova type striping on it. Again, look at the gap on this guy. It's really, really nice everywhere you look. It's just as nice as you'd hope to find. Correct wiper arms, incorrect blades, but these perform a better function than the original ones that did come with the car. I'm going to call it, well, it sure looks like tinted glass, but I can't say definitively. It is tinted. I don't know if it's factory tint or it's aftermarket, but it does have somewhat of a slight tint to it. Dashboard where it transitions to the base of the windshield, sweet as can be. The dash itself, there's no imperfections in it, no cracks, no warbles or anything, just from heat through the years. Vinyl top on it, looks like it's been freshly put on. The drip rail just as nice as can be. Sport type mirrors both sides. Look at the gaps on this door, front and back. Really, really nice. Chrome on the door handle, as sweet as can be. Wipes, whiskers, brand spanking new. Look at the fitment. Everything is very nice on this car. Very nice inside the door jambs, nice and clean. Nice fresh new rubber seals on it. Door panels themselves are nice. Molded type armrest the way it's supposed to be. Bench seat with an aftermarket automatic shifter for the 350 turbo that's in this guy. Old design, looks like a Suntac that's in the vehicle. Real nice clean interior, very, very clean, very well kept. Headliner looks to be good in the car. Door jambs are very, very nice. Devin will give you some really good pictures of, very definitive pictures of the insides of the doors and areas that everyone has concern about on the vehicle. Really nice looking car so far. And again, look how everything lines up on it, just as nice as you could hope to ever find. The trimmer on the front window was spot on, and so is it for the back. You can see the hatch shelf, you won't be able to see it unless Devin gives you some high resolution pictures, hard to get them, but has an aftermarket set of speakers in it, but it has a rolled and pleated, instead of just the flat black cardboard, it's rolled and pleated vinyl for the hatch shelf in the back. Really a nice custom look to it. Rally Nova designation. A set of 17-inch chrome-plated torque thrust style wheels on it. Really add a lot of character to this vehicle. That would be a wheel that would have been put on by Yenko in that era, and it's a popular wheel even today. Very, very neat retro type wheel. The back end of the car, we're going to leave these in there for a second. The tail light assemblies are really nice. All your bezels around them are nice. Lenses themselves really nice and clear. 427 designation on it. Black striping that continues around the back. The back bumper is the same as the front one was. Nice linearity. And again, there's no scuffs or marks or scratches on the bumper from someone putting something on it or scratching over it. Really a nice looking car so far. Deck lid alignment the same as it was with the hood. Look at that. You can't find it any better. That's as nice as you'll ever find one of these old cars fitting. Trunk area. And we're going to come back and go over this. It has a Nova shop manual with it, but it has a raft of original, we could do it right now, documentation with it. Here's the Protect-A-Plate. Here's the original warranty booklet. Here's the original owner's manual with the car, still in its original wrapper. And guess what? Here's the original build sheet, the original broadcast sheet that came with the car. Here's the original window sticker with the car, everything telling you about the car's originality. Here's a complete dossier of all the engine rebuild, all the mechanicals done to this car. This thing has been a complete rebuild from the ground up. Can-filled heads, 2 1/4 intakes, 188 exhausts, so they're big valve heads, RPM heads. All the paperwork concerning the mechanicals of this car is with it. Everything on here is, even the protective plate, totally amazing for that. Window sticker, everything. Great documentation to have with this car. Nice clean engine compartment, trunk area. You can see the floors are all nice and solid. It doesn't give any indication of anything ever been replaced in the car. We'll know a little bit better once we get underneath it, but everything on this car looks to be just the way it should have been in 1972 when it was released by Chevrolet. Let's go around the rest of it here. Get these keys out. Okay, down the passenger side, our last side here. Everything on this car matches and fits up. See how tight everything is? Look, you can't even get your fingernail between the the molding and the vinyl top. Everything lines up the way it should. The windows again are tinted, wiped whiskers, as nice as you'd ever hope to find. The door is locked. Let me try this guy. Same deal on this side. Devin will give you a little better shot of how clean the doors are and the hinge area in the doors. Dash has a set of auxiliary gauges underneath it. Headrest, car, seats, carpeting, door panels, everything in this car is just as fresh and clean as it was in 72. Great looking car. Rubbers are very resilient. They're just all fresh and nice and spongy yet. Gives you a nice indication of how everything lines up. Look. You can't get it any better than that. That's just as nice as you'd ever hope to find. Look at this. Absolute sweetheart. Look. Same thing, 427 designation in the front. I forgot to mention it on the other side, side marker lights and your Corvette flags. It's a 72 Nova. Certainly not the way it left the factory in 72, but at this point in time, it's certainly above that. Far above that. It has a built 427 in it. And again, it started life, the block started life as a 427. We don't know the actual cubic inch displacement at this point. I know that it had a new crank, everything balanced, everything done to the nth degree, new heads, everything. It's got a basically a 50 thousandths lifter rise. It has a two 50-degree cams, 640 lift on it. Really a great looking car with a ton of horsepower, really well done. All the documentation in the trunk. It's a car that really warrants your attention if you're in the market for a Nova, a Super Nova, because this is kind of what you would have got from Yenko in the late 60s, early 70s with a 427 L72 in it. But at this point, it's even got a little bit more juice than that. So you want to take a look at this one. It's very nominally priced for the amount of work and the amount of amenities that you're getting with this vehicle. So take a look at it. It's here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach. We try to get everybody to come down in person to take a look at these cars. But if you can't, because you live in Oregon or California or Maine and you can't do it, that's why Devin's putting all these photos together for you and this video that we do, a drive video, an undercarriage presentation, and everything to give you all the information that we can possibly show you to help you in a purchase of your car from Hanksters. Take a look at this one. This is a really neat car. Okay, this is the undercarriage of a 1972 Nova 427 car. Big block car at any rate. Lots of snot to this guy. I haven't driven it yet, but just listening to the motor, you can tell this guy's done right. You can see there's no leakage whatsoever on the oil pan. The flywheel is open to let it cool better. The torque converter, it's a purple converter, so I'm sure it's at least a 25 to 3,000 stall on it. Let's see here. Torque gear reduction starter. Cooling line still hooked and up and intact through the transmission fluid. And again, our new AA arm front suspension, you can see down here. New shocks on it, new disc brakes. Obviously, everything's new in the suspension department because the ball joints top and bottom are new, the steering gear's new. Everything on this front suspension is as new as it gets. Polyurethane bushings and stops on it. Got a set of huge equal length headers on it. Turbo 350 tranny, 3.5-inch collectors going into 3-inch primary pipes, going back into two, I'm going to call them turbo mufflers. Subframes are really nice on the car. You can see there's no deterioration whatsoever, absolutely none. In fact, there's not even any darn marks on it from being jacked up through the years. I can't really detect anything on it. They're really nice. Parking brake hooked up and still functional. Tail shaft not leaking, speedometer not leaking. Pan not leaking on the transmission, rear main, everything on this vehicle at this point is as dry as you can hope to find one of these. That's not to say that in 6 months or a year it won't be dripping oil somewhere. It's a muscle car, it's going to. Floor pans appear to be original. If they haven't been replaced, or if they have been replaced, it's done so professionally that I can't detect that they were. They really look good, pinch weld still intact, big dent right here in this floor pan. Looks like somebody maybe put a jack under it and went to lift it, and determined that wasn't too smart, and then put it where it was supposed to be on the subframe. Again, 3-inch pipes going into a set of turbo Dynamax mufflers. Actually, there's a name on it. It says a Dynamax muffler. I think they make turbo mufflers on it. Rear leaf springs in this guy. The spring torque boxes in the front are really nice. There's no tearing or no distortion whatsoever to them. The subframes in the rear are nice and clean and clear. There's no jack marks on them either. I don't know how do you jack this thing up. What do you see? Yeah, there's a jack mark right there. There's one. That's all I could find. That was it. A 12-bolt Chevy rear, and this guy needs it because of the horsepower it's putting out. Disc brakes in the front, I mentioned. Drum brakes in the rear. Staggered shock, rear suspension in this guy to help compensate for the torque load that it's subjected to. Fuel filter in the rear here. This is a nice idea to put the fuel filter back here so that it's out of the way, but still very accessible. Chrome straps for the appears to be original gas tank. Little scrape on the side of the tank here and one little punch mark there, but certainly nothing to hurt the function of it. The drop downs in the quarters appear to me to be original. The pinch marks are still there. Floor section in the back. The trunk area appears also to be original. Devin will show you real high resolution photos of all of this stuff so you know exactly what you're getting. Up above your rear differential where the subframe transitions up over, all that trunk area appears to be original and really nice. Car has a lot of originality underneath it, a couple of superficial marks on it, just little dents just from usage through the years, but this thing is a really nice car. It's very well done. You can see the transmission is all fresh in it, and so is the engine. It's a fresh build. There's not that many miles on it. It's got a fresh round of rubber. It's got huge rubber in the back and some smaller ones in the front, 17-inch torque thrust style wheels. It's a nice car. It's here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, and Devin's going to put together the video and close to 100 photos of this car, so you know exactly what you're getting. He spends a lot of time compiling all this information that we do so that you can see it as a customer exactly what you're buying here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach. We do our very best to present these to you, and he spends a lot of time putting this stuff together. Take a look at it. Okay, this is the inside of our 72 Nova. More modern sports style. Looks like out of maybe a 79, 81 Z28 Camaro or something. Steering wheel in it, really nice wheel, a little smaller diameter. Tachometer working as it should. Working just as it should. Gas gauge functioning. We got just a hair over a quarter of a tank. Clock doesn't work and we don't care. The remote control mirror works just as it should on the driver's side. Shoulder belts in this guy. Seat belts in the back, seat belts in the front, and shoulder belts. So it has a whole complete complement of seat belts in it. Let's see. Wipers. Wipers are just beating themselves to death over there just the way they should. Turn signal left, functioning as it should. Turn signal right, functioning as it should. Horn. Horn's working as it should. Oil pressure up about 55, 60 pounds of oil pressure in it. Amp gauge up at about 13.5, 13.8, just the way it should be. Temperature coming up to about 150 degrees now. We just started this guy a few minutes ago. Radio. Radio works. I don't know how to tune it, but I hear sound on it, so we know that it works anyway. It's a nice car inside. It's a really nice car. Fan. Let's see here. Heater controls. Fan is not functioning. I don't know why it isn't, but it isn't. Fan's not functioning, however the controls do work, so we have to figure out why the fan's not working, because it does have heat in here. It's good for rides. See how this guy performs. Okay, we're going down the road. Car has a set of, Donnie's been checking rear end ratios, so this does have a set of 373s and a 12-volt Chevy. Let go of the steering wheel, and it pulls to the left just a tiny bit. Could be the brakes, I don't know, we'll see once we turn around. it just pulled out to the left a little tiny bit. Let's see, brakes, no hands. Now there it stops straight as an arrow. How about that? Let's try this again. I'll put these brakes on a couple of times, see if one is just dragging a little bit. That's what it was, because look, now we're going down the road straight as an arrow. So we just have our left brake dragging, now I'm going around a right turn, and I have to turn it. That's what it was. Car goes straight. It does go straight. A nice straight running car, real nice. It's not quiet inside. This motor's making a lot of noise. You can hear it almost sounds like a solid lifter car. There's no creaks or groans or rattles or anything whatsoever. Again, the turn signals are working as they should. It's a nice car, real tight steering on it. It seems like it functions really well. We'll give it a little score here for you and get an idea of what it sounds like when you get on it a little bit. The car is coming everywhere. Car pulls like a freight train. We're up to, well, it's coming down now, down to 60. Speedometer doesn't jump around. It's nice and linear. It functions just like it should. Car pulls like it should. Still a little tiny bit of a pull to the now it isn't. There's no pull all the way up. It is. Must have been the brakes. Nice car. It has a nice finish to it. It's not a perfect car. This is a driver quality car with a heck of a lot of motor in it. Great set of 373 gears. Well done, nice solid shifting, torque plate. Yeah, turbo 350 transmission. B&M shifter in it, quick shift transmission. Just a really nice looking car. The interior appointments are very nice, and the headlight is nice and fresh. Dash doesn't have any distortion whatsoever in it. All your trim pieces are nice. It's a very well done car. It has a few little tiny paint imperfections here and there, but again, you know, we're talking about a driver quality vehicle. This is not a 100-point show car. Performance-wise, this is a very strong car. You can make this car talk. It's a nice running car, and it's a car you can drive anywhere. Nice car, by the way. Temperatures at about 160 degrees, 165 degrees is all it's running. Oil pressure's up yet. Everything's nice on this car. It's a great car. Take a look at it. It's here in Hanksters. You're going to like this one. Fun car.